Hello and welcome back to your video coaching session. In this series, we're going to go through the secret calendaring strategies. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the project guide, the use of the project and resource calendars, as well as creating a base calendar. So let's get started. In this video, we're going to focus on the secret calendar strategies for managing holidays and vacations in Microsoft Project. Now, our focus is going to be first on setting up the environment. We're going to use the project guide, which is a very powerful tool that comes with Microsoft Project. And we're going to walk through changing time for the project and for resources on the project. And we'll focus on creating a base calendar, which is used for storing dates that are non-standard working dates. So for example, if you have a resource that works 3 days a week, then you would create a base calendar for them. So let's go ahead and open up Microsoft Project. And let me get the right schedule here. Okay, now here's an example project schedule. I have filled it in, as you've seen in previous lessons, with some dummy tasks. And for this schedule, I actually have it attached to a resource pool. But if you don't have a resource pool, you can just go ahead and type resource names in your project schedule. Now, the first thing you'll want to do is I recommend using the project guide. It's a very powerful tool that allows you to navigate through Microsoft Project. And you can turn it on in a couple of ways. One, if you go to the toolbar area and right-click, you can select Project Guide from the menu. And when I selected Project Guide, it enabled this toolbar right here. Another way to turn Project Guide on is if you go to the Tools menu item, select Options, and then on the Interface tab, there's a Display Project Guide option. I've already been in here, so that's why this was checked. But when you come in here, you'll probably see that it's not checked. And if you go ahead and check that, and then click on OK, then the project guide appears up here. And in most cases, you'll also see the tasks automatically appear. Now, a lot of the information that you see here in task is available up here, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now in the project guide, what you'll want to do is define the general work times for your project. And if you click on any of these triangles here, a menu will drop down and you'll be able to see what's under the menus. But under tasks is an option called Define General Working Times. And if you click on that, then this window appears, and by default you can see my environment has a working time in blue of 8 a.m. till 11 till noon basically, and then from noon till 1 is a non-working time. That's probably lunch, and then from 1 till 5 again is working time. Now from this screen you can select the calendar that you want to work with in terms of the time that you're defining. Right now I only have this default calendars that come with project set up here, standard, 24-hour, and night shift. So I'm going to leave standard. And at the bottom you see here it says continue to step 2. So I'm going to click on continue to step 2. And when I continue to step 2, you can see that it allows me to select the days of the week which are going to be the normal working days for this project. And in my case, I'm leaving checked the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday days because we are working a normal work week. And the radio button here says I'll use the hours shown in the preview on the right, which is 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Or you can adjust the working hours shown for one or more days in the week. If you select this, then it gives you the option to select the day. let's say we select Tuesday, and let's say on Tuesday, for some reason, you start at 10 a.m. and end at 7. Okay, so that would be your work day. So from this interface, it's very easy to set up your standard calendar, and it allows you to have control very quickly over what you're doing. All right, so let me go back and change Tuesday back to a regular work day where it ends at 5, starts at 8. Okay, there we go. Now here it says at the bottom, continue to step 3, and basically this has applied the working time to the calendar. Now on this screen there's a link here that says click the link below to bring the change working time dialog box up. You can use this, or you can also go to the menu item tools and select change working time. Both will bring you to the same place, which is that it opens up this dialog box here that allows you to change the working time in your calendar. So by default we have the standard calendar, and from the change working time dialog box you can also see the resource names in this in the working time dialog box. For now we're going to focus on only the standard calendar. And the first thing that you'll want to do for the standard calendar is define any holidays. So let's say July 4th is a holiday, and maybe July 5th will be a holiday as well. So if you click on this day and then go down here to your exceptions area and type in a description for that holiday, I'll call it day after Independence Day, and that's July 5th. Okay, so when we click out of that day, it should change colors. You can see now this is kind of a reddish background, and that shows that there's an exception day. It's a non-working day, and as you can see here, the whole day is highlighted as an exception day. But if, let's say, you're working half day on this day, you could go to the details button and select working times, and let's just say because let's just say for that day you're starting at noon because you were celebrating Independence Day the previous day, and you'll be working till 5. So you could define your working times, click on OK. Oops, hold on, let me change this second start shift to a later time. It should be 2 p.m. Oops. And now that we've set this, you can see it's a lighter color. It's an exception day, but when you click on it, you'll see in the area over here that it's showing what time that working day will start. It's starting at noon as opposed to 8 a.m. So this is how you can use the change working time to dialog box to define your project calendar. I recommend going through your entire project calendar with all of the holidays that you know your company has. Then, once you've completed going through the standard project calendar, go through the individual resource calendars. And I just selected a resource, we call it Terry, okay? And let's say Terry is going to be taking vacation from July 5th through July 9th. Okay, so I go down here and I can type vacation. And since I clicked on the 5th, I held my shift key down and then clicked on the 9th, so the entire row was selected. When I typed vacation, it automatically put the date range in here. So now we know Terry's on vacation and in the calendar those dates are blocked off. Likewise, you can scroll through all of the months, put in specific dates for resources, and if you had any company holidays, when you go to your project schedule, the project calendar and the resource calendar data would be taken into account when you schedule tasks. So when setting up your project, make sure that you go into the standard schedule and standard calendar. You put in your company calendar holidays, and then any resource holidays that you know of, you also put them in, and then click on OK, and they'll be saved. Step 4 from the project guide allows you to customize the standard working units. That means how many hours are in a day, or how many hours are in the week, or how many hours there are per month. You can also define that from here. Likewise, you can also go to the Tools, Options, dialog box, select Calendar, and from here you can see that you can also set the hours per day, hours per week, and hours per month. Okay, so you can do that either using this dialog box over here or this dialog box from the options over here. They both do the same thing. Then if we click on task step 5, it brings us to project calendar is set. It's telling us that the project its working time is set, and it reminds us that this is a calendar for all of our resources, and if everything is good, then we click on finish, which is save and finish down here. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on save and finish, and we're done. Okay. Now before we go into creating a base calendar, I want to kind of walk you through a little bit about what's in the project guide. So we use the project guide to define the general working times for the project, but if you take a moment to scroll through this list and read what's here, you'll see that there's some other options that you might find helpful in how you organize your project and set up your resources in your project schedule. Likewise, under the resources option here, you'll see it allows you to specify people and equipment for a project, define the working times for resources, assign people to equipment and tasks. There are various functions that are available here. That's a shortcut to getting to those functions than if you had to navigate through the menu items. Likewise, under track, you'll see it says save baseline plan to compare with later versions. Using this toolbar is one way to navigate to specific functions in project. These functions are also available by navigating through the menu items, but using this toolbar basically gives you a faster way to be able to perform these functions. So take a moment to look at what's here. You may find that some of these functions are things that you'll want to use more frequently. Okay. Here we are under the reports item, and you can see a common thing that most managers want to see on their project schedule is the project's critical tasks. Now, because I formatted the project schedule's text styles to be read, if I select see the project's critical tasks, then it allows me to filter specific tasks. But basically, when I clicked on that, let me just move this over a little bit. My critical tasks are in red. And again, just using this toolbar is a way to quickly navigate to be able to see your critical tasks. Okay, so now let's go to creating a base calendar. Let me close the critical path, the information box here. Go back to my Gantt chart view. So to create a base calendar, we go to Tools and we select Change Working Time. And there's an option here called Create a New Calendar. And if you click on that, a dialog box comes up, and you can call this calendar anything that you want. Let's say we're going to call this part-time resources. Okay, and since we've already filled in our holiday time in our standard calendar, let's make a copy of the standard calendar so that we don't have to put in those dates. And we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And now we're in the part-time resources calendar. Now that we've created this calendar, let's go ahead and click on OK. And we're going to go back to the define general working times from the project guide. And we're going to select that calendar. This is our part-time resources calendar. And our part-time resources are not going to be working Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. like everyone else. They actually will have a different schedule. So our part-time people are going to be working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let me turn Thursday off. So you can see I have checked Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And when I deselected Tuesday and Thursday, those opened up as non-working times. And I'll keep the hours as the same and continue to step 3. And I don't need to change anything else right now. I'm going to click on continue. Everything else I'm going to keep the same, and I'm going to save it and finish working on that. So now I've created a special base calendar that will have resources who work part-time. Now before we go on, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and do the following steps. Okay, this is what we just walked through. Let me quickly go through here. What we're going to do is I want you to save your project schedule template by a new name and add some resources to it, or go ahead and link your project schedule to a resource pool if you have one. Then update your project calendar and the individual resource calendars with holidays or other non-working days. Okay? And finally, I want you to go ahead and create a base calendar and apply it to a resource. Let me actually go back to project right now and show you how to apply a base calendar to a resource. Let's see. Okay, so what we do is, there are a couple of ways to do it actually. From the resource sheet, which is a view, one of the default columns is base calendar. And by default, every row will have the standard calendar. But if you've created another calendar like we did, you can select that calendar and it will be assigned to the resource who you have assigned it to. Now this is just warning me because I've already assigned tasks to that resource, and now that I've made them part-time, the tasks that that person is working on, the duration for completing those tasks will expand because now they're on a part-time calendar as opposed to the regular 9 to 5 Monday through Friday calendar. Okay, so go ahead and create a base calendar, apply it to a resource, and notice how the tasks in your project schedule change when the resource that you're assigning to the task is a resource that is in a base calendar that is not working a standard full 40-hour week or whatever your standard full week is. Okay, now in this session I've added some additional bonus videos, and I want you to go ahead and take a look at them. You'll see them before the homework. And also make sure you take a look at the homework, and I'll see you next week.